it's Chris from My Stamp Lady. I'm here with the wonderful Rooted in Nature set. I love this set. I've loved it from the minute I saw it, and I was so excited to work with this set. It's in the annual catalog, and it also has the coordinating Nature's Roots Framelit dies, and you can purchase these in a bundle with the stamp set and save 10% right now while it's in this current catalog. Okay, and then I'm also going to be using one of the little circles from the Circles dies and the Pinewood Planks embossing folder. So let's set this aside. Here is the card that I'm going to make, and it is a fun card that can be sent to a masculine card or just used for an all-purpose card. Okay, so I have all of the paper cut, and I have all the sizes on my website and all the supplies I'm using. So if you go to mystamplady.com, you can find all of those there. I have an early espresso background. This is cut the long way, so it's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2 inches. And on this, I'm going to place a piece of the Wood Textures Designer Series paper. This paper is wonderful with this Rooted in Nature set. So I'm just going to place this right on the card front because I'm not doing anything in between there. And then I can set this aside and work on some of the other portions of the card. Okay, so I'm going to stamp the tree on this in Tranquil Tide. So let me get that out. And I'm so glad that there is a die for this because I would not want to be fussy cutting this out. It makes it so that I use it more often when I have a die. So I can just stamp this. This is a 2 1/2 by 3 3/4 piece of Whisper White. And then I have a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 piece of Whisper White to stamp that slice of wood onto. So we're inking this up in Crumb Cake. There we go. And we'll just stamp that on there. And this is the piece that I'm going to use that circle die for. And then I am going to go ahead and stamp in Blackberry Bliss. I'll stamp the sentiment. I don't need to cut this one out because it's just on a piece of 1 inch by 1 1/4 inch piece of paper, and it's all ready to go there for me. Okay, but while I have this Blackberry Bliss out, I'm going to get back to cutting those, I promise. I am going to take this piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock. It's 1 inch by 4 1/4 inches, and I'm just going to add a little bit of Blackberry Bliss ink, and it may be hard to see on camera, but what that's doing is it's just adding a little bit of texture to that cardstock, and when you look at the whole picture you'll be able to see that. Okay, so I can set that aside. Okay, I have a magnetic platform, and I have that tree and the tree slice. Get those dies here. So this is the die, the circle die. I'm going to, you know what, maybe I'm going to go one smaller. I think that one is too big. Yep, we're going to go one smaller here. And we'll cut that little slice out. And then from the, let's see, Nature's Roots, let's put that one here. And then I'll put an acrylic plate on top, and I have my big shot right here off to the side of the camera, and I will run this through. Okay, so now I have all those die cut pieces, and this piece of Whisper White cardstock, I'm going to run through the big shot with that Pinewood planks, and I want the planks to run this way, up and down, vertical. There we go, thinking about that word. So I'm going to be sure to position my paper so that it'll emboss the right way. So now I have the Big Shot platform. This is not the magnetic platform, and I have the thin die adapter removed, and my folder and one plate. With those dynamic folders, you only need one plate because they're so thick, but they do give such a wonderful deep embossing into that, and it's one of my favorites. The Pinewood Planks folder is one of my favorites to use. Okay, so now let's go. We pull in that background, and I emboss this piece, and I'm just using it as a piece for texture, not adding any stamping or anything else to that. So we'll just place that down. Here's that piece that I added a little bit of ink to add a really subtle background there. And then I'll just place this down here on the card front. Let's move that over just a bit. Now I have a length of linen thread, and so I will wrap this around the card front twice, and then we'll just tie a bow. I'm wrapping it right on top of this Blackberry Bliss paper. There we go. Tie a quick bow here, and I can always adjust my bow by pulling and pushing at the same time, pulling on one end and pushing on the other. But I think I actually wound up with it pretty much exactly where I want it, which doesn't happen very often, so that was pretty lucky. Okay, so what I mean by pulling and pushing is I can kind of adjust it there. Actually, I'm just pulling it up and giving a little fold to the card front to make it just a little bit narrower, and then just pull and push that cardstock where you want that. Okay, so next, oh, it looks like I'm going to put down this wood slice piece. This is Crumb Cake. And we'll just position that right there. Set that down. This piece is going to go on with dimensionals. I want it to have a little bit of lift over that linen thread. So we're going to put some dimensionals here. I'm going to see, do I have a, here we go. I have a mini dimensional. These are wonderful for your smaller areas like the trunk down here. I like using dimensionals for a couple of reasons. The first one is that it gives some height or dimension to your project, just like the name says. And then the other one is because I like going over the thread with dimensionals so it doesn't look like it's kind of bent over and you can see the bump underneath. Now this I can put a dimensional down in the corner. I think I'll grab one of those mini ones and make sure I put it in the right corner. Let's put it down in that corner. And then this side I can just put down some regular adhesive because that dimensional is going to help it stand up down here in the right corner, and then the regular adhesive, it's already got the dimensional under that piece. So my last step to finish up this card front is to take in some of the metallic sequins, and I've picked out, let's see, I've picked out two medium-sized ones and a large one, and I'm going to use my fine tip glue and just put down a spot of glue where I would like those sequins to end up, and that will just draw your eye across the front. So let's pull in a, there we go. We have a, take your pick tool. This has got the little putty end, and that helps to pick up those sequins, makes it nice and easy to do that. And then I'm using the little spatula end here, which you can change, but I'm using that end to position those. Okay, so there you have my Rooted in Nature card. I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This is just a piece of 4 by 5 1/4, and I'll use this inside here. You can stamp a little something and go to my blog, and I'll show you a picture of the inside of what I would do for a writing surface and maybe add a little bit from the stamp set. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, Chris at mystamplady.com, and you can find all the supplies to make this card in my online store at shopwithmystamplady.com. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.